Hello, this is Dr. Jeff Kim, National Board Certified Teacher, and I'm here actually at Cal State Fullerton. There's a special filming of this movie called Chosun, or Chosen, and it's of the 5 Korean Americans who ran for congressional office in, I believe it was 2020. Now, I gotta say, I'm fascinated by this movie because once again, I think I've shared in the past, as I grew up, I never had a teacher that looked like me in all my K through 12 education. And of course, that also implies I also never saw any administrators that looked like me, or leaders, political leaders, actors, at least not portrayed in a good way. So I'm really excited about this film, and I'm hopeful that it's gonna really encourage and inspire me. We'll see. Mayor Fred Jung, just so blessed that you showed this film here in Fullerton at Cal State Fullerton. Why in your city?
Well, you said it. You know, Cal State Fullerton, go Titans. They were kind enough as to give us a venue and a space to host this film, and we were able to bring in the director from New York. It's a remarkable film. It highlights so many things about the Korean American experience in particular, but just the human experience in general. There exists very little on television, in the media, that highlights our experience, that folks that, as you so aptly put it, look like us. So this notion that there are 5 Korean Americans that ran for the highest office congressionally and 4 were successful is a remarkable story. You know, the one that wasn't is indeed the highlight of this film. He is the principal narrative.
Well, thank you so much as well for your service and leadership. Well, I saw 5 Korean Americans up there, but we saw one also live presenting and hosting this event. So thank you so much. 2. That's right. Councilmember Tammy.
Tammy Kim.
Yes, that's
Indeed.
right.
Why Chosen and why today? Because the Korean American story and telling of our story is critical. Probably now more than ever, especially with the rise of anti-Asian hate and the need to really understand who we are, where we came from, where our experiences have been and where they lie, will really help to guide us as we move forward in this country, in the future, and for generations to come.
This is Tammy Kim, Irvine City Council. Thank you for representing us and being a servant leader. Thank you for your service and leadership.
Thank you, and thank you for your leadership as well.
Hey, Dr. Kim. We just watched an amazing film called Chosen. What are your initial thoughts and feelings about this film?
You know, first of all, I've shared this before, that when I was young, that I never had a teacher that looked like me in all my K through 12 education. But it wasn't just teachers, it was also administrators, people in media, politicians. And so this movie, Chosen, it was kind of like a wow. Wow for me, just seeing 5 other Korean Americans who are running for office. And as you know, very recently I've decided to run for school board trustee, Area 4 in Irvine Unified School District. What an inspiration. What an inspiration for me to see other people that look like me who are also representing because they love the community and want to show compassion to others. And you know, there were 5 individuals that were interviewed, and they were all of actually different political parties. About 2 were Republican and 3 were Democratic. But even though their political parties may have been different, they all had a Korean American identity, they all had a Korean American story, and they all wanted to make a difference in the Korean American community in whichever way they could. But once again, this isn't about the Korean American community only, but when we pay attention and understand one community, it also helps us to understand others.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I can definitely see that. Even though this was a Korean American film, it's more about being compassionate, because that's something that you stand for, not just towards Korean Americans, but also for everyone. And if there is something that us as Korean Americans can offer to humanity in general, I think that is something that we would love to take, and that's something that you'd stand for.
Yes.
Would you like to speak a little bit more on that?
I'm glad that you mentioned that, actually,
compassion?
because well, I think the reason why this is a story of compassion is because many of these stories revolved around the Korean American story of resilience. Many of these folks did not come from a very easy background, might have been a very difficult background, difficult migration experience, different cultural experience, language barriers, and yet they didn't give up because they wanted to be a voice for the Korean American community, but all Americans as well.
So you heard this story and it gave you greater insight into a Korean American story, and you're wondering what's her call to action? How can
exactly.
you show compassion to another?
Exactly.
Wow, that's really
Yeah.
powerful. Did you have any thoughts on a possible first step on what's one thing you could do?
You know, one thing that I was talking to you about, with you, Dr. Kim, is that I'm really trying to protect, refine, and grow my paradigm of life. And because I believe that whatever is in here and here is gonna come out here with my hands, and it's gonna influence lots of people, and not just like, maybe not like lots of people, but the community that I have, that I feel like that I'm called to protect and to serve. And so my thought is study more, reflect more, and kind of let it kind of sit in my head for a little bit. And then from that on, I think through lots of prayer and reflection, I think the answer would come.